us are very familiar. We've seen some of our friends get involved in some complicated situations, whether that's with guns or we're, getting caught up in DJJ. We've seen other of our friends, take their own lives, or some of us just get like super anxious and we don't know what to do, and we just kind of shut down or we just kind of feel overwhelmed, right? So today is a really big, important time for us to really just get an understanding about what we all think that means and how that looks for us as a community to work together. Now, when I was younger, I would look at older people and be like, y'all have it together. You can do whatever you want. You're free. Then I got old and I'm like, dang, life sucks. Sometimes. So, I want us to be able to have some respect for each other and like really have the opportunity to share the conversation together and talk openly. So a couple ground rules as we get started here. One, I'd like for us to work together to have open conversation. Yes, you've probably been to a panel. How many of you have been to a panel before where you see people talking at you? Great. Those of you who haven't, this is similar to that, okay? But this is like more of a conversation where we'll have some things to share with you. And in a minute, I'll have each of us kind of explain how, we are and why we're connected to what we do and why we're sitting up front. But I want you all to have the freedom to share what you need to share. So what's that going to look like? We have questions that we're going to answer. And as we answer those questions, after we've spent a few minutes, then we're going to open it up to you. We would like for, one person who identifies as not old and one person who identifies as young at heart to share that answer, okay? So we're going to spend time that way. Now, there may be a question that you really want to answer, and maybe someone else already answered. That's okay. Because of how this is, I want to give us a chance to kind of talk openly. Now, there is one camera that is following everything. So if you felt comfortable, you're more than welcome to come stand by the sunglasses and say what you got to say. If you don't want to do that, which I completely understand, you really could just yell at the camera so we can hear you. Just like that, sir. You are A1. You got a gold star. Thank you so much. The award goes to. So that said, I want you all to have a chance to do that. If the conversation gets a little like energized over a topic, we might move the topics along, but we'll come back at the end with those questions, okay? That said, you also have the note cards in front of you. Doodle on them. If you see or hear anything that really speaks to you, I want you all to write it down. If you hear any thoughts that really say anything to you, write it down. We're going to collect these after, and we're going to use that for our research. So it would be so meaningful for us for you all to do that. Obviously, keep it respectful. You don't have to keep it super PG. Just keep in mind that we've got a mix of people here and we want to be as respectful as possible. State how you feel it. Any questions? Okay, that said, we're going to start by introducing our panel. We'll start with Ms. Ezsa. Who are you and why are you connected to this work?
Hello, everyone. My name is Ezsa Allen. I am a mental health therapist. I've been doing therapy for over 15 years now, and I started my own agency called Social Age Counseling and then a nonprofit called Mind Over You to promote mental health in the Black and Brown and cultured communities, because we all know how we were raised and what we think, our bios, our friends' influences, all that molds us into being who we are, and just understanding what mental health is and how to operate in a healthy manner is very, very important, especially in today's society. So thank you for having me here, Ms. Jeigh, and I'm so happy to be here to share this time with you guys.
Thank you. My name is Dee Rae. I'm a life coach and mentor with Inner City Innovators, as well as the Director of Wellness and Intern Development at Rohit Readery. I've been in health and wellness in some form or fashion for about 20 years, specifically in holistic wellness. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual work. And for the past couple of years, I've been specifically working with young men and women from our community. And I've seen an uptick in mental health crisis. So in the words of the CEO of one of my organizations, Ricky Aiken, says, real change happens with those who need it. And I really believe that. So if we understand that there's no Superman or woman coming to save us, then it's up to us. So really happy to be in this room with y'all.
Hi, I'm Jeigh. Thank you so much for such a really poignant stare. I am the founder and director of Mysuspire. I started this nonprofit to really open the conversation that mental health matters. It's okay not to be okay, and that you deserve to be seen, be heard, and be shameless because your mental health matters. So we're here to recharge your happy. These conversations are part of a series. We do intervention. We have telehealth if you need therapy. We do group work. We also do groups and like workshops. We also do our big event called the Mental Health Fun Fest, which you'll hear more about that, and a bunch of other things in the community. So just know that. But I got involved with this because I felt like my world and the people in it never really had a safe place to just say what they needed to say the way that they needed to say it. You know, a lot of us work or a lot of us go to school and we do things and everybody wants you to just kind of fit the mold. And then when you're at home, you have to kind of be quiet and just, keep the status quo. But the reality of it is the mental health issues that we have, the things that we go through, don't always feel that quiet and don't always feel that easy. And so I created this as an opportunity for us to breathe. Suspire means to breathe. And so this is about making the world a safe place where you can just breathe.
All right, good evening, everyone. I am Jacoby Waters, the founder and CEO of Young Men Understation, mentoring young men ages 7 through 18 here in the Palm Beach County area, based in Riviera Beach, Florida. And I'm just glad to be here this evening with you great people, beautiful people. Thank you. I got that. Handling the live stream. My why is pretty much is wanting to help give better understanding, especially to our people that look like me, the standards of mental health. Being able to handle the different issues and be the advocate for our youth as far as learning and understanding the meaning behind taking care of yourself, making sure you are okay, and also let people know that when you're not okay, you are able to be vulnerable and somebody will be willing to respect your vulnerability and understand that you're not okay.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Ajai Johnson. I am a mental health therapist. I am the interim clinical director for a diversion program. Wow, the words have been gone with me today. Those who work with me are in the room and they know I've been struggling all day. So I am the interim clinical director for a diversion program. So we're the step before probation for the Department of Juvenile Justice, and I'm the visionary behind the Guided Millennial, where we focus on healthy transformation through conversation. I have not been asked why in a long time, so thank you for asking. As I was pondering over here, I've been doing this work professionally for a long time, but also personally. Conversations are something that is vital to my growth, my development personally. And I realized that a lot of times we were going to conferences and summits and listening to people who have so many acronyms behind their names, so many famous people looking to kind of be heard, seen, and validated. And I realized that a lot of great wisdom, a lot of great insight happens to be with people that we're actually connected to on a face-to-face personal basis. And so with that, I wanted to create spaces where conversation with each other, conversation to each other, not at, was vital and created. So mental health is definitely important to me, more so in the essence of connection, allowing people to find their tribe, find where they feel seen and heard, but also find that space where they can be supported and pushed forward into the person that they want to become. So transformation, conversation, connection are probably my big focus. So happy to be here.
That's real.
And good evening, everyone. My name is Keith Gill. Everyone calls me Coach Gill. I am a youth empowerment program coordinator here at the City of Riviera Beach. I am so delighted that this panel, this amazing panel, and all of you as guests and attendees are here together to talk about a very important conversation that sometimes people like to sweep under the rug. So I'm very excited, elated that you are bringing this to the forefront, celebrating mental health awareness month. It's a big, big deal. So thank you all for being here, being transparency. And one of the most important things that I've been doing over 3 decades now is about exposure. The more you know, the more you grow, right? And the more you can show and help someone else. So it's really a blessing that you guys are here. And I hope that you take away some of these things, some of these golden nuggets, to really help some people that, who look like you, who may not look like you, but some other people that you may get to know and that really trust you. Because a lot of times coming from an older voice, it may not hit as well, but you guys are very strong, very powerful, probably more so than you know. So hopefully you take this information back and be a pillar for your friends in the community, your family, whatever the case may be. So thank you guys and thank you panelists.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Awesome. And also, Coach Gail, like how do we go? Where do we need to go if we gotta go?
Sure thing. So
All
the
that.
restrooms are located straight down the hall to your left. We do have a small one in the children's section of the library right here. So for the smaller kids especially, but they can go right here. Look me down the hall to your left, and you'll see the restroom is located on your right hand side. Okay, need anything, let me know. I'm here for you. Got you back. And good to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna use the restroom.
All right, so my friends, time is of the essence. So we're gonna kind of just roll through it. So the first question for the panel and for the group is, what is the real pressure that youth are facing right now?
Get it. Oh. What is
No,
the,
you can not tell them. It's a conversation.
Say you wanna go?
But say your name, who you are, and then remember the camera.
My name is Isaiah Charles. I feel like what I've witnessed with the youth and like what they struggle with most is like trying to fit into today's society. And there's just a lot going on. And I remember as a kid, fitting in was like that was probably the most peer pressure out there. So I still feel like that's an ongoing issue. I just feel like that's what I feel is the answer to that question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, how old are you? You're 11. How old are y'all?
What were you talking about?
I was talking to him,
Oh, I'm 23. She's 15.
and you're 11. Okay. So I asked because I deal with my guys on a regular basis, and I'm not going to pick on the little ones because hopefully they don't have too much of that type of pressure. But I would like you to tell me if I'm wrong. You to tell me if I'm wrong. Y'all already know you can interrupt me. But from my understanding, and I could be wrong, I'm open to being corrected, the youth are facing a plethora of pressures, but they don't even know what those pressures are, why they're different, because it's their norm, right? The fish doesn't know the water is wet. The frog doesn't feel the temperature rising. So they're inundated with sales and pressure from their phones and hyperconnectivity. Our bullies ended, when the school bell rang, or when we went inside from the school, when the lights came on. But the bullies follow them into their rooms. It's constant. And it's not just bullies. I mean, we look at social media pressure. I grew up in Miami, right? So we always wanted to have the nicest cars because there wasn't nothing to see a Ferrari down the street. But that's not everybody's reality nowadays. I can see a post that tells me I need to care about this firefighter that died or this police officer that died in like a whole nother state based off of a situation. And we should care about that. But there's no space given to these kids when they watch a black man being lynched on their phone in another state. Now, the leaders of our cities will say that shouldn't affect them because it didn't happen in their community. But it happened in their phone and they don't see a difference. Because like we know Riviera Beach is different than the city of West Palm Beach, but they don't, right? So it's that constant connectivity and being forced into a world that we see, but in my understanding of what they experience, they don't experience much permanence. Like we come from an age where baby tattoos, diseases, all those things are permanent. And a lot of the kids don't have that. Nothing is permanent in their world. So they get these pressures from us and they don't even understand why they're getting it from us. So I think that sums it up as one of the biggest pressures that youth feel is being unheard. And I think all of us could have experienced that in our youth, but more than ever this generation, because like my father being 73 years old, that's a massive gap. He's from Jamaica, born in the 50s. And still there was closer connectivity between my generation and his than there is now between theirs and us. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Proportionately.
Yeah.
So like I went to school and was forced to learn how to type because I was told we were going to be here one day when we had to type really well. None of my boys, I love y'all. They don't know how to send emails.
Yeah. Yeah.
Type of
They
one
even
figure.
put, signatures.
Listen, I'm sorry. But facts are facts.
No, but I mean, like, we were taught to like type an essay in an email and get it sent somewhere.
Yeah.
But y'all grew up with it so intrinsic to your being that no one forced you to learn technology like that.
That is true.
So then now you get older people holding you to a standard that we got set on us. You know what I mean? So from my period, that's mine.
And I think with that comes the word comparison,
Mhm.
which I think sometimes kind of falls in a lot of conversations. And if the intention for some people is relatability, like, when I was growing up, I understand because I did X, Y, and Z, or that was something that I had to experience as well. But it also goes into creating that openness for them to be able to tell their story. Because like you said, accessibility is a very big thing. There is so much information that they have right in their hands, way more than we had. We're living in our imaginations, but they live in a very, very big reality early on. And so I think being honest about, while there may be some similarities between generations, that there really are big differences as far as impact is concerned when it comes to those things. Like, I think of identity. I think at this age, knowing who you are, how you are, knowing how your parents are or were, you don't want to be that way, or you do want to be that way, and trying to figure yourself out. But there's a lot more things going on. Like you said, it follows them into their rooms, into their safe spaces, into that quiet time, to where before we could kind of disconnect, and now they may not be able to. So trying not to lean into comparison when we're creating the spaces to kind of cause that understanding. So definitely being unheard, because everybody feels like, oh, I've been there, done that. It's like, well, no, it's a little different now. We gotta honestly appreciate that.
It's true. Any other thoughts?
Young people,
So we need someone else. I mean, you can fight back.
what are some of the biggest pressures y'all feel?
Yeah.
I'll say trust.
You would say trust?
Yeah. And
Trust in what?
in others. Like, in people you don't know, as strangers. Because, like, say, for y'all was younger, y'all was walking through the neighborhood, you could talk to the random person at the doorstep, or you could talk to the random kids. But for us, we see another group of kids, we be like, oh, who is that? Can I beat them up? Is it safe? Am I safe? You think more like that, not trust me, they think rob me.
Yeah.
And we're more leaning towards, like, we know how we feel, but we don't know how we feel exactly, if that makes sense. Like, we'll know we're upset, but we won't know why or how we got upset.
And it's interesting that you brought up trust, because when you first started saying trust, for me, I was like, of course, because you're in a world where you know that the people running this country are terrible. We won't go all of those details. But you see that in this world, we got like really bad people being allowed to get away with a lot of stuff. And then what you actually reference for trust, I think that's
something.
well, that transcends. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I was your age. I felt the same way.
Yeah.
For me, it's in the neighborhood. I don't know what you want. But depending on where we are, because if we're at someplace, I feel safe. But I can resonate with the trust thing.
It's also because there's like AI is a big problem now.
Mhm.
And it's because because the internet is so fake, it's like reality must also have some fakeness to it. At least that's been my.
No, that's real.
It's like, because they're in their phone like over 12 hours a day, just looking and looking. You can tell the difference between what's real and what's fake, like even with AI and whatnot. So I don't watch the news.
We got social media.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying,
But
like,
it's
I
not
remember we
just
grew up in
social
the day
media. I just-
where, like, Walter Cronkite or whatever his name was, like, certain people on the news, they'd speak, and your mom and them knew, like,
Yeah,
they're
because-
journalists.
Yeah.
They're at least trying to tell you,
Yeah, and now it's like a celebrity can be a journalist, like
Yeah.
somebody who has zero credentials, zero education in journalism could be a talking head. So it's just like you don't know who to trust on your phone, you don't know who to trust in real life, and sometimes even in the home, there's a lot of mistrust. So it's like, at what point do you learn trust? Because how do you find that in yourself? It's not in the home, it's not in school, it's not in the street, and it's not even on your phone. Like, where do you find that? You know, that's very, very complicated, and I do not envy that at all. Yeah.
It's a great point.
By the way, Jermaine, this is myself. I would say, in regards to what we're talking about right now, generational change, that trust factor, it comes from back then when you had a village to raise a child.
Yeah, the village raised the child,
Right.
real.
Nowadays, there's no village to raise your kids. So kids nowadays, they don't know that village. So another older person come to them trying to raise them or trying to get them advice or different things like that, that's a no-go for them because I don't know you, I can't protect you. But then back then, when we had a village, we know, respect that person because that person know my mom. So I think trust falls, it fell a little short within a generation just because of that factor right there.
Community.
Yeah.
That's real.
So that takes us to our next question. And our next question is that, like, what is the hardest part of being a parent or a mentor or a leader right now? And again, I want those of us who identify as those things to answer. But those of you who look up to your parents, to your mentors, to your leaders, I would like for you to kind of also think about the answer to that question as well. Again, the question is, what is the hardest part of being a parent, a mentor, or a leader right now?
Well, I could say for me being a mentor and a parent, so I'm gonna speak on the parent perspective. Raising boys in the world of social media, and especially my 8-year-old, he wants to follow his 13-year-old. Like, oh, I wanna do this. And for me, I understood the importance growing up being a child, and I'm seeing what the world of social media is trying to push fast, like it's trying to speed y'all up. And I tell my 8-year-old all the time, my son, please enjoy being a child. Enjoy. Trust me, you get my age, you go.
Zero stars.
Yeah.
Cause I tell them all the time, I said, for me, I didn't have social media growing up. I didn't have social media till I was in high school. But again, I tell people, when it came to our generation, we got social media, we were mature enough mentally to handle it. We was, like I said, I was in high school for MySpace. Facebook, I was in college my freshman year. And then we had Instagram, but we were older as we got social media versus now, y'all are born into it. So it's like, and then y'all trying to learn how to navigate, but then you got our generations trying to help y'all navigate. And then, but we're still learning because we were the babies of social media. Y'all were born into it. So it's like everybody's trying to learn social media all at once. And all the messaging can be confusing versus everybody just stopping and thinking, as you mentioned, what's reality and what is for the internet.
I could also say, for being a parent, I piggyback off that too. It's just hard to raise children in today's society. And we're joking over here because I was saying I am old because I do have a kid who just bought a house, so he's out my house. I have another kid who's in a university, so she's out my house. But I do have a 12-year-old left. And it's scary to raise him in this society today versus when my 26-year-old was being, when I was raising him. Because the era has completely changed. And there's no more respect and there's no more village. And children are kind of running rampant on doing what they want, when they want, how they want. And there's no intervention for helping kids, right? And then there's a gap between who they can trust and who they feel comfortable enough to express in themselves. So they talk amongst their own selves. But the problem with that is nowadays, the cure for most of these things are self-harm or thinking of suicide. I work in the schools. Kids are starting to do drugs at a young age. we catch them doing sexual acts at a young age. And then there's no consequences for it. Parents will come to the school and curse you out because you said something to their kid. You know what I'm saying? Whereas back in the days, I don't care what you said. But adults said you did something, of course we're gonna figure it out, but it's nothing to where we're cursing another adult out because we're trying to help you. That's not, you know. So it is harder to raise children in today's society. And in reference to being a advocate or therapist, I truly, like my passion is to help children. I was raised here in Riviera Beach on Jeigh Avenue 135th. So my passion is to be back in this community. Like I can go anywhere else, but I struggle to be here. And I just asked him, like, how do we reach the kids? Because that's my biggest struggle, is just reaching the kids. When you have things, they're not coming to it. When, you know, it's hard to get people to not only come, but then be consistent with it. Because then they have their own struggles that they're dealing with that they don't open up to, you know, so it's tough out here.
So community.
Wait,
Oh, she did rescue.
So yeah.
Can you repeat the question again? I'm sorry.
we talking about the struggles of being a mentor
Or parent.
or parent in today's society.
I think for me, the struggle or challenge of being a parent is trying to explain to my daughters and mentees that I'm your friend, but I'm not your little friend.
Oh.
And the reason of that is, you know, as a millennial, with the Generation X and baby boomers raising us, it was, you're gonna do it my way or no way, it's a highway, yeah. But that manual, that parent manual doesn't work with this generation. So trying to navigate being a parent in today's generation and also taking, you know, how my mom raised me and how the village and community raised me, trying to find a balance between the two. It's a struggle.
Yes. I agree.
I don't raise children, but I work with children, and I can reiterate everything you said. This generation is very, 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 very different. And I'm not even that far removed from them, and I can tell the difference.
Yeah.
And it's like, I genuinely, like, even when parents come to me, like from church and whatnot, and they ask, like, hey, what can I do for, you know, this kid to do this better? And I'm just like, well, it's really that tablet, it's really that phone. You gotta take it from children. Like when it's time to go to bed, they need to go to bed. Like
Yeah.
children need strict rules. Children, and unfortunately, the issue is a lot of the because why, you know?
I mean, I know that you are wired to not trust or believe the adults in your life until about 24. From about 15 to 24, when that frontal lobe is forming, you just believe that your parents are wrong. Another adult may be right, but your parents are wrong.
Yeah.
When that firms up and you start recognizing the parent as a trusted source, you start realizing I had an ally. I think what I deal with personally, I deal with a little bit of jealousy, because I see more support than I've ever seen. I deal with a lot of frustration because I hear parents that are burnt out, and I get it, I'm a parent, but my child is not raised by her tablet.
Yeah.
She doesn't have it. She has one, but she does not use it. And it is not outside of an extreme situation, it is not, hey, take this and be quiet, where that is the norm.
Yeah.
And you can't critique parents and tell them that that's wrong.
That's true.
And then with the young ones, I get frustrated because it's one thing when someone is trying to tell you how to be and they haven't walked in the shoes, like they haven't walked in your shoes. I was just telling them about a Busy Bone song. He said, don't let light skin fool you, I'll mess you up. I've walked some spaces. So I'm not wagging my finger telling you that's to the gun range, to go camping, go fishing. I'm dying to go on trips. Like, I want them to become my friends and join me in this battle to end gun violence and youth delinquency and all of that stuff. But until they are my peers, we can't be there. Because I have to be able to hold you accountable when you drop the ball. And even then, they don't receive it well sometimes. This particular group I brought with me are my all-stars, but the way they shut down, and I'm like, bro, you shut down on me. I'm the only one in the paint with you.
Yeah.
And I get it, but I know we have to go for time, so yeah.
So my next question is for our families. What are the conversations that we are avoiding as families? What are the conversations that y'all are not having in your home? Okay, sir.
Actually,
I think
He's like, let me talk about it. Go ahead, Mark.
not avoiding it today.
for me, it's basically talking about what's going on with everybody. I'm in a household where a lot of that stuff doesn't really get talked about at all. And I don't really get to talk about it unless I'm not at the house. So it's like when I am at the house, I don't like I just whatever.
Knowing that some of them boys is like really disruptive, they don't go home to that same safety and love. Like, no matter how much she's on, she loves you. They don't have that. So sometimes the worst people in your space may not have that same love you got.
And
That's so-
be inspired by the way in which you operate. That's why, like, again, we all understand how frustrating it can be. Like, all right, grandma, like, give me 2 more minutes, bro. Like, I'm doing something that time.
And I'll be out like 15 more minutes.
Yeah.
It's getting dark, this and that. Like, even though it's daylight saving time, it's still like a late time and shit. She like lock her door. And like, if I come home 1 minute late, she'll lock her door. But I respect it because like, it ain't the same respect in each house. So like,
Yeah.
my neighbor got a kid and like, I be seeing him like come on like 3 o'clock in the morning on like one night I was taking out the trash. And I be seeing him come on super late. And then like, I be telling my grandma, she be like, ain't no self-taught over there. Like, all you doing is just
radio. It is what she said, how she said it, when she said it. I don't have a say. Keep a child's place. Don't talk. There's no expression that can go between back and forth on how you feel. They don't care how you feel. As long as they have a roof over your head, they fed you, that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? So I completely agree with you. But the children that I deal with nowadays that has that same gap, if you will, they are suffering from anxiety, depression, self-harm. It's bad.
You even see it in like, the religious homes, a lot of times that too, they think mental health is
the
the
devil.
thing, pray God, they go to God. Mental health is a spirit of the enemy, and why in some sort of capacity, because I'm a Christian, I do believe, mental health, depending on how you go about it, can be sometimes a spiritual battle that you may be facing. It doesn't. So yeah, that's pretty much.
And I think all of it goes into honesty. We gotta just be honest at the end of the day. Like, we gotta be honest, parents gotta be honest, families gotta be honest. Like, we have to be honest about what we're struggling with, what we're having an issue with, what we're uncomfortable about. Like, we just have to get to a place where we are honest about the things, because the more that we avoid, the more we act like it doesn't exist, then it kind of lights up, and that's when the fires start to grow. So if we're going to continue to do what needs to be done across the board, 100%, I'm gonna be sensitive to that because I'm not a parent yet, but there is a lot of honesty we have to have. It's about the home. Everything starts in the home environment. And I know we're not trying to put
that pressure on just the parents or guardians or things of that nature, but it starts there and then it bleeds out. So if we're not honest about what you got going on in there, we're gonna outdo or undo everything that we're trying to do outside of.
Hey, here's hand up.
Oh, you got 2 hands up, by the way.
So, something I feel like we should talk in households is, what you call it, structure and
Question I'm gonna ask these professionals, but we're gonna do that at the end. We're gonna do the questions and the
So
vice.
don't answer.
At the end.
Perfect
That's a
question.
great question.
Fantastic.
Wrote it in, now don't you worry.
Girl, we got you.
Don't you worry.
But that also leads us to the next question, right? So, wait, great segue. When we talk about confidence then, confidence to speak up, confidence to ask the questions, confidence to talk to our leaders, parents, ask for structure, confidence as parents to intervene in our kids to fight back. We don't want them to hate us. We don't want, but we also want to, So what is real confidence? What does that look like? What does that look like? How do we measure that?
Like, probably standing up for yourself.
Allowing our outside world to help us know who we are. And I think with confidence is figuring out what do you value, what is important to you, what is your opinion about something. And I know that that's a muscle that may not be getting worked out if we're not having certain conversations at home, if there's not certain, topics that are being addressed. But I think going with confidence to stand up for yourself, like you're mentioning, you have to know who you are. And yeah, we're not gonna know all the things. Doesn't matter the age, you're still gonna be evolving and learning. But it's really taking the time to ask yourself, how do I feel about this? What is important to me? What is my perspective about it? How do I wanna go about doing certain things. And then with that knowing that, okay, maybe this is not the safe space for me, but I'm going to take the initiative and have the effort to look for it elsewhere, or come to spaces like this and ask questions out loud and kind of engage with different people and connect with different people. So knowing what you want and being bold enough and fierce enough to then go out and get it, even if it doesn't look like it's coming from the place where you expect it to come from.
I would definitely say it starts at home. And not as me put on my parent hat. I had an incident where my son at school, uh, a white child called him a monkey. He was in the third grade when this happened. And to see my son crying, that's when, as dad, I stepped in and I exude self-affirmation into him. And that's where I feel like at home, the parents got to breathe that into the youth, breathe that confidence into y'all every single day. And now I'm put a mentor hat. So the young men I work with, we do a workshop where we do man in the mirror. And the number one question I ask them is, when everybody else say they believe in you, do you believe what everybody's saying about you? A lot of people say no. And they think that's a bad thing. I'm like, no, that's actually a good thing. So now it's my job to get you to see what all these positive role models in your life see in you. So it starts within, for the young people, it starts with y'all. But us as the parents and the adults, we got to continue to breathe that life into y'all, that self-confidence into y'all, to be able to showcase your voice, to be assertive, and let you know that what you're saying is not wrong. It may be the delivery. Now, for us adults, the delivery sometimes can catch us off guard, but it's all about understanding y'all and allow y'all to have your voice.
So the next question then that we have is, what does a strong community, and y'all, I want y'all to all hear this and really take this conversation or this question to heart, everybody. What does a strong community responsibility to youth look like?
Say that again?
What does a strong community responsibility to youth, young folk, look like?
I feel like that would lead back to discipline, sort of, because if
You made, or like how you guys think, right? And kids nowadays, you can't tell them nothing. Get a gun. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you believe in this era we can do it?
I see, it'll definitely have to start inside the home. The way I got introduced to it was like church, really. If you go to church, you act up, everybody at church gonna pinch you. Or the elders at church gonna pinch you.
Oh, so ushers are never done.
Everybody. But
You're gonna.
that's a way to soft launch it
Amen. Y'all just need to be praying for me. Thank you, Grandma. Thank you, Grandma. She had
Thank you for that, though. Yes, ma'am.
I was gonna say to me, it's like the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Like I know my mom, even with Mr. Gell, like even though my mom like disciplined me, she'll go back and tell Mr. Gell and all the teachers and my coaches, and they'll give me lectures and talking to me for hours and hours. But if I didn't have that, I don't know where I would be in life. I feel like it's just being able to come together, especially as a Black community, being able to be coachable and being able to be talked to and taking that advice and not just going off like these old people can't talk to me.
Yeah, good job. I agree. You guys are saying some great things. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, I agree with everything they were saying, consistency of discipline. I do think it's a case where with some people, you kind of have to meet them where they're at, because that's the only way where they learn, where they grow. Sometimes discipline could push away a child because they can become more rebellious, more angry. Sometimes when you're too sweet or you're too, understanding, it could enable their behavior. It depends on like the person. When you get to know a person and see kind of like what they're going through, then you kind of decide how you want to continue with the treatment, how you want to continue coaching or being with them. Sometimes they need that strict discipline. Maybe they work with that type of style, or some people, some communities, they need that type of help where they don't want to be told what not to do, what to do. They just want someone to understand them, hear them out. So kind of meeting them where they're at and then following through with them, making sure that it's a good approach.
So as we go through this, as we're gathering panel, the next part of this is gonna be like the tools, like what we're doing, answering these next questions. So as you all ask and make your statements, I want you to think about it too in terms of what would be most helpful then, knowing what your thoughts are, for you to walk out of this room feeling like you gained something from this. What would be helpful to you? So as you continue your statements, I want you to think about that and share that perspective as well.
Young lady?
Oh, I was gonna share, like a parenting style. I, learned, oh, there you go. But, it was about, there's like 4 main parenting styles, and like the most from research, like the most effective parenting style is being authoritative. It's a mixture of, you can't be too passive, you can't be authoritarian and just try to lay down the law. Have we were talking about this earlier, like obedience and like a direct, like you're directing the child, because you can't control that child, and trying to control them is only going to make them rebel more. So it's like you really just have to be firm, be consistent, and honestly, I think what could really help the community is like offering parenting classes. And I know they do parenting classes for babies, like how to, change a diaper and all that stuff. They don't do that for teenagers. Because once you hit maybe 10, 11, it's so different. Your mindset changes. The way you compare yourself to everything. Even before internet, I got on social media when I was 17, and I had access to it by the time I was 12. But my mom was like, "Hey, girl, what you doing?"
I got beat down with my space. So.
Yeah.
I snuck and got one, and I was not supposed to get one. So yeah, I'm saying.
So I feel like parenting classes could be a very, very large, thing, especially for teenagers, because that's where a lot of parents get lost at. Like they can handle the, baby to 8-year-old phase. That's when the kids start having their own opinions and, being a person. But
Real quick, brother, this brother.
What I would say would help with the community is bringing spaces like this into the schools.
yeah,
Because we know now it's not happening at the home anymore. We know the foundation is at the home, but the home life is not the foundation anymore. So I would say we do like platforms like this, like at open houses, or take time out throughout the day, like throughout the school year, to do different things like this. It would be good.
When you say the home is not the foundation anymore, what do you mean by that?
As in, people say it starts at the house. It starts at home.
Yeah.
A lot of times nowadays, it doesn't start at the house anymore. The parents are now putting it towards the school. Yep. Some of these kids don't even understand that when that statement is being told to them, but they feel like I am my own person. I understand you say I'm a reflection of my parent. That day I'm still my own person. I'm not my parent, and I can still do what I want to do.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking.
I think part of that is holding parents accountable. We have to get back to that being the foundation, because before I send my kids off to get raised by the school, I'm a parent first, and we gonna figure this out at home.
Yep.
So I see what you're saying, but we gotta start holding parents accountable. It starts out with my mom told me, no matter how many raise you got, education starts at home. That's the foundation. And we have to that's first and first. Are we getting together and putting importance on family? Okay. When we take importance out of family, then we have the parents who don't care to sit down with their kids and do homework. We have the parents who are going out to the club or out with their friends and not pouring into their baby. So we have to make it important by fostering community. So what does that look like? The family trips, the Sunday dinners, the sitting down and talking, being intentional.
No, that's real. Thank you.
What I was gonna say was pretty much disagreeing with what she said, like, and what everybody else is saying. Like, I feel like it really starts with the parents because at this point, I really feel like we have kids raising kids because, like, these nowadays parents, like, they never really got to grow up themselves before they started having kids. So now they have all the things that they still needed to work on within themselves, but then at the same time, now their kid is observing them and watching all that mistakes. So, like, even if the parent does trying to tell the kid to do right, but they're doing wrong, what do you think the kid's gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So I really think
Do as I say, not as I do.
exactly. So, I really feel like what she said was a good point. Like, we really need to find some way to, like, gather parents and educate them on how to be
That's a great one.
the way to be. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, because we can't
that's
let
the
them
point.
get away with it.
So,
Yeah.
okay, here's a question, because we only have like 3 minutes to wrap up. And I really want to make sure we answer the question about the tools, because Homegirl asked a really good question. And as we talk about what that could look like, when we talk about like what those tools are, I want to like just list a couple of them and then give our panel, maybe each of us can think of like one thing that we can do, or one tool that we can use. So some of the tools that I think that we talked about, one, confidence. Literally being able to understand that no matter what situation that you're in, you are one of one. There is no one else who's ever gonna be like you. There is no one else who's ever gonna think like you. There's no one else who's ever gonna have your experiences, good or bad. So whether you are in a situation where the people around you are difficult and you don't know what to do with them, or I've worked in the DJJ, and so when I'm sitting with some of those kids in the cells and they're like, yo, I hate being here. Yes, but you are still you, whether you are literally sitting at the top of the White House or at the bottom of a ditch. So you get to decide what is your brand, what is on brand for how you are gonna deal with whatever that situation is. Your mama is going off in front of you, your best friends betrayed you, or you just won a big award, right? Like, it's all you. So that's one big tool that I think we can use, especially when stuff gets difficult, because you're gonna still be you when it's no longer difficult, right? Another thing that I think we can use is also, obviously I'm always gonna advocate for therapy, but I tell you all this, therapy is like a good pair of shoes, right? Like, you might find a therapist that works for you for a while, but then they don't, maybe you outgrow that style or you need a different type of therapy, there's one type of therapy that we all know, which is talking about our feelings, right? We all know how to do that. We talk about sitting on the couch and saying, hey, these are my feelings. But there are different types of therapies. There's eye movement desensitization reprocessing, EMDR, where you don't even have to use words sometimes. And you can go through deeper, heavier things that are harder to talk about. There's solution-focused therapy, where you're focusing just on the issue itself. There's so many different types of therapy. So maybe you've been working with a therapist that was really good for one issue, but now you're dealing with something else because you're growing and evolving. It's okay to say, hey, therapist, thank you, I'm moving on. If you have a problem in your foot, you're not gonna go to the eye doctor, right? Different therapies can be seen like different specializations. It's okay for you to move on and find and grow. And then the last one I will give us for tonight is understanding the power of just taking a moment, taking a breath. All right, a lot of us get hot, myself included. Listen, when I get something, I go from 0 to 10,000 in like less than a second. It's amazing. If I can bottle that, I would be a millionaire. But the issue is sometimes I will get upset so quick and I will make a big decision and I will say something to someone or I will do a thing. And then next thing you know, the world is on fire and I don't have enough water to put it out. So just taking a breath, taking 5 minutes. If it's a big issue right now, it's going to be a big issue in an hour, if it indeed is that big of an issue, right? So sometimes, and even like your friends, like another resource is being that person for your friends. I may be good today, but Jacoby may not be happy that day. It's okay for me to say, hey, brother, just take a breath. It's okay. And I would say that those are some of the skills because as we become community to ourselves and each other, to our adults, you can go to your mom and be like, hey, mama, I love you, just breathe. Like, it's okay. And I want to give us that power to breathe, right? That is something that is underrated, I think, but super important. Panelists? 112?
Mr. Gale, did you have a question or answer?
Yes, real quick. Mr. Brody wanted to say hello.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Adam Brody. I'm the library director here at Riviera Beach Public Library, and I just wanted to interject one thing. Within the last year, the Riviera Beach Public Library has made a strong stride in the way of committing ourselves to helping the community with mental health awareness. Within the last year, we've established a relationship with the National Alliance on Mental Illness. They've been coming on a monthly basis. They're on a brief hiatus, but they're starting back next month, June 22nd. Mental health session, not like a mental health counseling session, but an information session. That's going to be on men's mental health. And they're going to be here every month until the end of the year, starting in June. That's all. And historically, they've touched on issues such as peer pressure, mental health during the holiday season, much more. And we're looking forward to reigniting that partnership starting next month. So definitely check it out. Flyer will be coming out soon.
Amazing.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. All right. Good to see everyone. All right.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll give just two. The first one I can say, I'm big about seeking within your own self in anything in life. In any problems you have, figure out what you can do about it. Always work on yourself. Learn your strengths and move in such manner, but also learn your weaknesses and work towards that. Like the young man just said, that it's hard to maybe express yourself sometimes, or you don't know why you feel the way you do. Like, look deeper into those things. Like little coping skills is like journaling, saying positive things to yourself, breathing techniques, doing the things that help build you and refuel your soul. Like we all have a cup that we work off every day. Always work on yourself is the biggest thing that I can always say to anybody. Secondly is there's a lot of great advice and suggestions that was given in this room by you guys. I really, really encourage all of you guys to be that light to your friends. You are your peers' first person of contact. Like they don't even contact parents or they don't even contact teachers or therapists. You guys, they go to, hey, guess what happened or you know what I'm going through. Definitely try to be a good influence to your peers and be that person. Even if 10 of them are looking at you like, what's wrong with you? You still stand strong in your confidence and just be who you are as a good person. It's gonna go and take you very far.
I'm gonna piggyback off.
Can I say something to her before? Are you leaving? I just wanna answer your question because I don't want it to go
Unanswered.
deaf ears.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so in my advice to you as therapists, every therapist is different, even though we follow a certain evidence-based modality, but we're still different in our personalities and how we come, right? So the best advice I can give to you is always find someone that you feel most comfortable and relatable to, so that they can understand your background and where you come from, if you understand what I'm saying. So that when you say things, that it's not just the bare bottom of things. Like, we have a certain structure that we have to abide by, and we're not gonna sit here and make you harm yourself or someone else. If you were a therapist, you wouldn't let that happen either. But I understand what you're saying by maybe just saying, hey, I got a spanking, and that might not be normalized in some areas, but it is in other areas, and they can decipher what's harmful and have those conversations with you. So I hope that helps you in a way to say, not to just stray you away from therapy, if you need it. But like, I'm a therapist, and I say everyone needs therapy, because we all have a situation that we may be dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And we all have a story, if you understand. So, I just hope that that doesn't deter you from going to seeing a therapist, or anybody, even if you're asking for it. You understand?
On that advice.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to therapy, like I can tell the youth that I work with, like she was saying, you know, certain therapists have a certain way to work with you or work with people in general. If one moment if you're going through those sessions and you tell that that connection has broken, it's okay to cancel that and go find another.
Yeah.
Just keep looking, keep looking, keep looking. Because there's a lot of therapists out there in the world, so don't stop looking for a good.
There is a space for you.
Yes.
Carved out just for you, and if you would like to sit and think about it, that's for everybody. Sit and think about what that safe space would look like for you. Pray on that, meditate on that, begin to think about it, so that way when you're looking for it, you exactly have something that you're looking out for, but there is a space.
I know we gotta go, but I had a question for y'all three specifically.
Absolutely.
Because based off of what the sister asked and what she asked, the way I interpreted your point was like, what would y'all say, how does one who is not safe at home get therapy if therapy is not supported at home? And what do they do if, like you said, like, hey, I found out what you're doing is either abusive, or this is toxic, this is not healthy. And they're like, that's crazy, or that's the devil, or that's not a real thing, that somebody poisoned your mind. What would y'all say as mental health professionals? How does a young person navigate that?
I can say that that has happened to me a lot of times, because again, I work in Title I schools, which is a lot of background culture. And when the kid comes, when it's either offered to them and they reject it because they're like, oh, my parents is not. So I myself, and it's the only thing they do, there's other things. I ask them if I can have the okay to speak to the parent, to help educate them and help them to understand in a less mental health or emotional terms, to dummy it down a little bit, to help them understand that it's in the best interest of the child, because I know that they're not only exhibiting behaviors at school. So, and it's for a family dynamic as well. So I try my best to meet the parents where they're at and help them. I don't know if you have anything else.
Woo! Yeah,
It's a hard one.
It is, because you.
The kids don't even want you to talk to the parent.
Yeah, and it's like and I struggle with that because a lot of my clients lately have been teenagers, and so it's like you want to give them that autonomy, but you also know that there needs to be an adult present, because then you also don't want to run into an issue like, okay, you talking to my child, but you didn't even run that by me first. So it's trying to find, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it's hard in answering this because I found it, but I haven't at the same time. Because in educating the parents, it's also knowing that you only have that child for that specific amount of time. And then it's like, you're gonna go home, and whatever they say to you about whatever took place in the session or anything of that nature, it can be counterproductive, it can challenge that. And so it's also encouraging them, even if I don't have the permission yet to have that moment, and I got 5 minutes with them, let them dump, let them breathe, let them kind of tell me what's on their mind. And kind of following up when I can, however I can, if I can't get to that parent just yet. But just finding a way to remind them that while it may be challenging, that they're the only person a part of their healing process right now, that's also the beauty in it, because now they have the authority to protect it. And so finding a way to kind of give them that power while also trying to help them navigate how they may be the first and sometimes the last when it comes to their healing. So I'm still figuring out, but
it's hard.
Using the time that I have with them in that moment of access as best as I can.
I would say my answer is to like view the youth. Like you're saying, it's your mental health, right? And I know that it's difficult. Like I was raised in a family where my family decided what it was and what it wasn't.
Yeah.
No matter what my experience was or wasn't, right? And from that experience, and now being a licensed counselor and doing this work with a lot of youth and others and parents, what I believe is it's your mental health. And yes, as a therapist, I'm gonna say try to find therapy. But the reality of it is, in today's world, discernibly,
Yeah.
you have YouTube,
Yep.
you have Instagram, you can
Podcasts.
follow
Yeah.
quality resources.
Yep.
You have that one friend whose family does kind of give good advice. You can come and find some of that support. You can be creative until you don't have to be, right? Because at the end of the day, it is your mental health. And by no matter like by any means necessary, be well. Do you know what I mean? It can also look like, so that's why in our nonprofit, we do events. We have events like the Youth Summit that's coming on November 13th. We have so many amazing community partners that do different things. You know, Jacoby can talk for a few seconds about the flash mob. And like, there's just so many different things to like plug into that are led by professionals who understand that your parents are gonna let you go to a party because they get a few minutes off, but like may not let you sit on our couch. So we're gonna party with some good information.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or we have like the mental health fun fest. Like there are different things that happen around the community. NAMI, like he shared, is a great organization. There's just so many organizations in your schools, like your guidance counselors, your principals, sometimes your SROs. Like these people know that mental health matters, and you can ask them and be like, "Hey, yo, like, what are some like events or things that are around mentorship groups?" You might be able to do mentorship, but you won't be able to do therapy.
Yeah.
And that's why organizations like ours partner with these groups to make sure that you have a way to get what you need. We might be able to do coaching, but we won't be able to do therapy. You understand? Like there's answers there.
There's another way for it.
There's always a way.
Yeah.
You ask the questions, so closed mouths don't get fed. You know what I mean? Ask questions. That's all I can say. Ask questions.
I was gonna say,
Ask
that. It's all right there.
It's all good.
I'm sorry.
So we're up on time. Are there any other thoughts that anyone really would like to share, or any other questions that you have about how to get resources, how to get help, what help looks like, any specific things?
I got a tool. I have a tool and a suggestion as well. I would say a good tool is love. I believe it's agape love. Love you regardless of whatever it is. That's for other people and also for yourself. You have to give yourself agape love too, because you may mess up today and then tomorrow you stop loving yourself because you messed up yesterday. You have to continue to love yourself, and that will help with your confidence. And then also something that could help this ride out into the community where we can get the community more involved. I would say we can try to branch out to the news. Because people watch the news all the time and all they see is negativity. That's why I stopped watching news. But when I grew up, the news wasn't all negative. We had community stuff going on the news. We had people getting awards on the news. Those scholarships was on the news. The athletes going to college was on the news. Now they only telling you about the government and all this other foolishness that we have going on. So if we can have some positivity being given to the news reporters or having you come out to these type of things like this, I think would be good for the community.
I want to share two numbers with you guys, especially if you know someone who is hurting themselves or contemplating suicide. And the first one is 988, simple as that, or 741-741, and you can text or call. So like I said, you guys are the first responders to your peers when they're going through something. Share those numbers. You may save a life. Yes, sir.
I was gonna piggyback off what he said and was like basically just wanna say like you always gotta try to like give yourself some grace because we all mess up but you don't wanna but you don't wanna necessarily take like I done did this I don't feel like it's gonna happen like bro like it's okay to mess like even I struggle with this so I'm basically giving myself some own advice but yeah you never just wanna settle for the bad events that happen and then you just go along with that. You always gotta try to like tell yourself like, bro, just cause you lost this battle doesn't mean you're gonna lose the next one.
Great advice. Thank you.
The last tool, and I'll shut up after this, the last thing is, you know, you can't control most of the automatic systems in your body. Like you can't make your heartbeat stop. You can't control most of those things. A lot of our internal systems are on autopilot. But the one system that controls all of those systems, you do control. So to piggyback off of what Jay says, like your breath is the most powerful tool you have. It's the first thing that gets dysregulated. It's the first thing that changes. So we won't go into different types of breath work, but if you go on YouTube and you just type in whether it's 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, you'd be shocked at how much taking a deep breath in, deep breath out, intentionally holding and intentionally, will change your state of being. Because you can't really control the outside world, but you can control the internal. So I would highly encourage us Black folks, we start developing our breath.
Can I add to that?
Don't.
I teach that in a format of 8-8. So you breathe in slowly for 8 seconds, hold it for 2, and you breathe out through your mouth for another 8 seconds, but it has to be intentionally slow.
Yeah.
And you repeat that 3 times, and it naturally stops that. It makes you calm, it makes you think better, clearer. If you're having an anxiety attack, it'll help calm you down. Or if you're just anxious, it naturally, like he said, calms you down. So just remember 8-8. Breathe in nose 8 seconds slowly, hold for 2, out your mouth 4. There's many different
There's so
forms,
many.
but I like that one.
So here's what I'm gonna do. On the Mysuspire Instagram, so those of you who have Instagram, I'm gonna tell you right now to go to Think, THINK, Suspire, THINKSUSPIRE. Follow that page. Tomorrow, I'm gonna post all of these that we just talked about. And that way you will be able to just have some of the different things and have some resources. Definitely that. And then I'll probably link in bio to an actual download that will have a lot of these tools that we've talked about. So it's got the 3 blue circles for breathing, heart, and lungs. All right, so keep that. And then, because there's so many different ways to do a lot of these different tools, definitely stay up on that, and I'll share the different information of the people who were here tonight, so you guys can connect with us, follow up, and ask more questions. That is a tool.
I'm on to Kobe.
All right, so I'm gonna end off with making sure you understand, you do self-inventory of the people that surround you. You wanna make sure you're not always pouring into everybody, but nobody's pouring back into you. So always making sure you're mindful of who's around you, who's that positive energy around you. For instance, this young lady to my right, when she needs me, I am there for her every step of the way, giving her words of encouragement.
Talking me off the ledge?
Yes, that's what she likes to tell me. She'll text me, talk me off the ledge, and I get on the phone, just listen.
Yep.
I don't give no suggestions. I just let her go, and then I don't give her. So that's what I said. Just be mindful who's in your circle, who's advising you, and who just be mindful, because at the end of the day, you want people in your life it's a reciprocal relationship. It's not you doing all this and then you're looking like, man, I am draining. Because that's something I'm still dealing with, and being honest. I've poured into everybody, but I'm realizing, I'm running low. So it's like I have to do that self-regulation. All right, I gotta kind of put a balance of helping, but also make sure I'm good, to make sure I'm the best version of myself for everybody.
And I will definitely echo that, with be careful who has your eyes and your ears. If we're on these all day, there's no reason why you're suffering having your phone in your hand. And what I mean by that is we are on TikTok, Instagram, Substack, Facebook, all kinds of things. Your algorithm is going to tell me a lot about you. If you feel like your algorithm is moving you in a different direction than you want to go in, change the content that you're consuming. You have the opportunity to do that. The way these phones are set up, whatever you like, whatever you watch frequently, is going to keep popping up. If you want that to stop watching it. Change your algorithm. Find something else to look at. Find some, like, unfollow the pages that are not giving you good content. I'm gonna be very honest, growing up, Palm Beach had a page for everything. Every messy situation, every high school something, it was a page for it. And you know what? We indulged. We wanted to be a part of it. We wanted to figure out what the tea was, so we followed it. But a lot of those things we outgrow when we're growing in different seasons. Unfollow, block, remove. Just stop looking, stop watching, stop listening, all of the things. So make sure that as you're consuming certain content, it's something that's gonna edify your spirit, something that's gonna, keep you growing and moving you in the direction that you want to go in. If it's pushing you to the left, just stop. And if you haven't stopped, then that's a whole nother different conversation.
Great conversation.
Right. Yes. Everyone, this has been amazing. I am so grateful for all of you who chose to give up your random weeknight to invest. This is amazing. I want you all to understand though, that this is a charge for all of us. We've got to continue these conversations. We will continue the conversations, but these conversations only make a difference if you now continue them at the lunch table, at the dinner table, in the pew at church, whatever it may be. When y'all are just hanging out or whatever, at the park. Like, these are the conversations that make it matter. I was talking to somebody the other day and they're like, yo, I'm just one person. What difference does that make? Listen, I'm one person, and respectfully, how many of us are in this room? You know what I mean? Like, you never know the influence that you have. We live in a world where influencer means X thousand followers on Instagram or more. But that's not where that word comes from. And influence is about what's inside of you and what you are choosing to go with the flow. Does that make sense? And so how you choose to live and the conversations you have, that's the difference that we make. So I want to thank you all for coming. I want you all to give yourselves a round of applause. One last thing, and this is something that I do at the end of all of my sessions. So, because of course, Mysuspire, we talk about breathing. I want everybody to not kill yourself. All right, we are going to do what's called a box breath. So as I breathe in, or as we'll follow my hand, we'll breathe in for half the box, hold it, and then breathe out for the rest of the box, okay?
All right.
So I want everybody to follow my hand. On 3, we will breathe. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. Hold it. And breathe out. One more time. Breathe in. Hold it. Breathe out. Thank you all so much.
I apologize.
Yeah. And it was